everyone. I want to welcome you all on the behalf of Ludhiana College of Engineering and Technology. Today we are going to start with the new session, that of Java. After this we are going to start with Android. So in order to start with Android, you must be clear with some of the topics of Java as well. So we are going to cover all those topics of Java that you actually need in the Android. So let's quickly start with the Java. So let's have a quick look onto the Java. So if I'm talking about Java is an object oriented programming language as well as a platform. Java was developed by a team led by James Gosling at Sun Microsystem. Java is the first programming language which provides the concept of writing programs that can be executed using the web page. Now, where actually this Java is used? According to Sun, 3 billion devices run Java. There are many devices where Java is currently used. If I'm talking about desktop application, means the applications that you are actually using onto your computer systems, they are made up in Java as well. So some of the example are Acrobat Reader, Media Player, antiviruses, etc. Moving to the next, some of the web application like IRCTC. This IRCTC is the website for your railway reservation. Moving to the next, the Java T Point website, from where you refer so many notes for you regarding any subject. Like you can have the notes of Java, you can have the notes of any other subject, even though of Python as well, they provide that for you. Moving to the next, enterprises application means the application they are basically designed for an organization. For example, the applications that are designed for the banking or for your particular business, so there Java is also used. If I'm talking about mobile, so your mobile applications were also designed using the Java. You will also see when we'll start with the Android, you will see we will use Java in order to start with the backend of your particular application or give the functionality to your application. Moving to the embedded system, what actually an embedded system means, you have a system, and you embed some sort of functionality to it. For example, let's take the example of microwave ovens or your simple washing machines. They are not smart enough to perform, like washing machine is not smart enough to know like after 10 minutes I have to stop washing the clothes or I have to stop rotating. So there is some processor inbuilt into that all is designed with the help of Java only. So many games are there which are developed using Java. And even though the robots they are made, there also you use the Java language. Moving to the next, we'll see what all are the features of Java. So first of all, Java is simple, means if you have some basic knowledge of C or C++ language, it would be very easy for you to learn Java. It is object oriented, means everything that you are performing onto Java will work only with the help of classes and the objects. So it is fully object oriented. It is distributed, means you can use it anytime, anywhere. Next is it is architectural neutral, means either you are working with Windows or you are working with Unix or you are working with any other language, it would work fine. Its speed is quite high. You can easily if I'm talking about C, you only compile the language, but if I'm talking about Java, you compile that and even though interpret the language. It's more secure, as whole of the interpretation of the program can be done by the JVM only. Moving to the next, it's portable, means you can use this Java. You need to make the program, suppose you have make a program in window only and you want to run that program in Mac operating system or in the Unix operating system, you would be able to do that as well. It is multi-threaded, means there are small threads. Thread works like a process. A big process will break down into the smaller processes. So in this way Java also works. Moving to the next, if I'm talking about the translation of a Java program, first of all what you did, you write a program, that is your source program. Then you compile that program with the help of the Java compiler, that is Java C. Then your particular source program will convert into the bytecode, and that particular bytecode you can run onto the any operating system, whether it's your Windows, whether it's Mac, or whether it's Unix. It's all up to you. Now moving to the next topic is Java Virtual Machine. If I'm talking about a Java Virtual Machine, it's like the usual computer which translates high level language into machine language. Just like that, virtual machine also translate bytecode into the machine language. First of all, the Java compiler will convert your source code to the bytecode, and then this JVM will convert the bytecode to the machine language. JVM are available for many hardware and software platform. Moving to the next, what is OOPS? I have again I have already told you that Java is object oriented programming. So OOP is object oriented programming. So what actually object oriented programming is? Object oriented programming is a method of implementation, means you are writing a program. This is a method to implement a program. A language in which everything represent in the form of object, means everything you design, that is only in the form of either objects or classes. So it not only makes the program less complex, but also makes the software reuse feasible and possible, as they are as in OOPS we are working with the modules. So the basic advantage we have by using OOP is that whenever you need to make change into your program, you can easily do that. You need to make change onto that particular module, so it would be easy for you to make change to any of the module in your Java program. Java is not truly object oriented programming language, as if I'm talking about main method, so that is also available in it. If I'm so it we can consider that Java is purely object oriented. Some of the things are there which you can even achieve without the object as well. So moving to the next, there are some of the concepts that are available in OOP. First of all is object. What actually an object is? Object is real life identity. For example, if I'm talking about the student, so student is the real life entity, so that is the objects. And what class contains? Class contains all the feature of the student. For example, it will take the name of the student, his father name, his roll number, and so many things. So class contain all the information, and object is the physical entity, that is the student itself. Moving to the next, we have the encapsulation. Encapsulation means we have so many information provided to us, and we are encapsulating it into a simple form. For example, there are so many features of a student. You are just encapsulating those old features into the class. So this kind of thing can be happen with the help of encapsulation. So if I'm talking about encapsule, you can take the example of a capsule. The medicine, the whole medicine is put into that small capsule, but that can help you in so many ways as well. If I'm talking about inheritance, as I have told you in OOP, we are working with the classes. So if one class needs the functionality or the some data from other class, so what we can do, instead of typing that data again, what we can do, we can use the data or use the properties of the previous class using this inheritance. Next is the polymorphism. Polymorphism means you can choose a name for any variable or for any method, and you can use that particular method for some other purpose as well. Okay, so you can use a single word for many tasks as well. So if I'm talking about abstraction, abstraction means you are defining something somewhere else, but you are declaring it somewhere else. So whenever we are going to perform these things, you will get to know about each of the concept that is available in the OOP. So here is the Java system overview. First of all, there at the bottom we have the operating system, in which you install the JVM, which have the class loader, the verifier, the execution, everything is there now. Afterwards, there is a Java class library. afterwards we have the Java programming language, in which actually you write the Java program, and with the help of those programs you can develop an application, and that application runs with the help of the Java native interface. Moving to the next, there is the phase that is that of the development phase. How the development phase will run in Java program. So if I'm talking about the first you need an editor in which you write your program. Afterwards you compile that program with the help of Java compiler. This Java compiler will check whether there is any sort of mistake or error in your particular program or not. If so, it will show you the error. If not, it will load the class as well. Afterward, this particular file will convert onto your bytecode, and after converting this file to the bytecode, you can either run this file onto this particular system, or you can run it onto the any another system as well. After that, you have to execute this file, and the JVM will execute this file, and it will convert your bytecode file to the machine language. Moving to the next, we have the data types in Java. First of all, there are two types of data types that are supported by Java. First are the primitive, and another one are the non-primitive. So primitive are those which are the basic data types that are available with us. But if I'm talking about non-primitive data types, so non-primitive data types are those which are actually made with combining these primitive data types. So if I'm talking about primitive data types, there are two furthermost types that are available in primitive data types. One are numeric and another one is non-numeric. As we can understand with the name itself, so numeric will contain all the numbers like integer, real numbers, and further integer will contain the byte, that is 0 1 form. The short, that means the shorter size of integer, the int only, the long integers. So all these things are there. If I'm talking about real, the float is there, the double is there. And if I'm talking about non-numeric data types, so we have characters and boolean. So character will take a single character, either it can be a letter or it can be a special character as well. So boolean will take either true or false value. But if I'm talking about non-primitive data types, so three basic data types are there. So first is array, which is the basically homogeneous collection of data types. That means either if I'm talking about an array, so either it will be of integer array or it would be of real array. Real type array means the values would be quite similar in this. If I'm talking about class will contain all the properties of any object. For example, it can be carry the properties of a teacher, or it can be carry the properties of a student, and any of the property of any particular thing. Now if I'm talking about an interface works in this similar way as the class works, but the actual work we will see in the further more practical implementations. Moving to the next, we have the advantages of Java. So if talking about advantages of Java, it is the simple language. If you know other the languages like C and C++, it would be quite easy for you to implement the Java programs. So it doesn't support pointers. Pointers are basically the reference variable we use in C and C++. They doesn't support by Java. Java is the first language and program can be executed using web. As we can see, there are so many websites, they are designed in the Java only. So one of them is the Java T-Point. So we have seen that as well. And IRCTC, that is the railway website for India. So that is also designed in Java only. Moving to the next, it is write once and run anywhere, which means if you are writing a program using in Windows and you want to run the bytecode of the same program onto another system having another operating system, you can easily do that. Next are some of the disadvantages of Java. It's quite slow as compared to C and C++. Now, no support for low-level programming languages. There are so many features. There are some features which are not even available in Java as well, and it has no control over your garbage collection. Hope these topics are clear with you. Now we are going to start with the implementation of some Java program, and you will see how this Java program will work and you can run a Java program. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Thank you so much everyone. That's all for today. Hope you have liked this lecture, and if you have liked this lecture, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.